Good morning, Richard Fulmer here, and welcome to another Richard's Rock Rambles. So we're having another look at an album that's 50 years old today, and this particular band started a whole new trend. Well, for me, they were kind of the forerunners of this particular style in rock, that being the twin guitar attack, if you like. And it would be carried on by bands like Thin Lizzy and then later on Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and a whole bunch of other bands. But these guys are the ones that really started it all. So yeah, we're talking about Wishbone, and in particular we're talking about the album August, which would become their biggest selling album. Still play a lot of the songs from that album on tour these days. They became classics. And I've been lucky enough to see these guys about 3 times. And really a classy act. Regardless of who's in the band. Obviously over the years they've had a few lineup changes, and so we're going to have a look at this album, and it was recorded at the Delane Lay Studios in London in January 1972, and it was released on the 8th of May in 1972, and the highest placing it got was number 3 in the UK charts. Didn't quite manage to crack number 1, but number 3 is not bad. And like I said, the whole twin guitar. The early albums, the subject matter was more sort of, especially with August, lots of swords and sort of sorcery kind of thing, fantasy. Later on, they'd be a lot more commercial. They changed their sound quite a bit, obviously, to keep in with the changing tastes in music. But in the early 70s, this kind of style was definitely the in thing. I mean, if you think about the early albums from Uriah Heep and Yes and all those bands, it was very much in that vein, the whole sort of fantasy realm, if you like. So, let's have a look at this album. I've got a vinyl and a CD. I've got the CD, which is a remastered, which has a few bonus tracks. And this is the original vinyl. That's quite an old copy of this. That's why it looks like it does. As we get older, we all start to look a little faded. That's the back there. If you open it up, it actually reminds me a bit of Darth Vader from the Star Wars, this character here. So then you open it up and you see the guys. That's Andy Powell. He's the only original guy still left in the band. And then next to him you had the bassist and the vocalist Martin Turner, Steve Upton on drums, and Ted Turner was the other guitarist. That's Ted Turner there, Steve Upton on drums, and there's Martin Turner on the bass. So that was the vinyl. That's the CD copy that I have, and this has got 3 bonus tracks, Live from Memphis, promotional EP, and those are quite cool to have from back in the day, see how they were live. So let's see if there's anything I can show you inside here. It just tells you all about the band and what have you, and that's pretty much the same as the vinyl there. So in the band, as I said, you had Steve Upton on drums and percussion on all tracks. Really great drummer, could hit them skins pretty hard. Martin Turner, bass guitar on all tracks, and he was also the lead vocalist. Andy Powell, lead guitar on Time Was, Sometime World, Blowing Free, Leaf and Stream, Warrior, and Throw Down the Sword. And then Martin Turner's brother Ted Turner, lead guitar on Sometime World, Sometime World, Blowing Free, different passages. They each had different passages which they played lead on. Phoenix and the Pilgrim. Rhythm guitar, acoustic guitar, and all harmony, lead guitar played by Ted and Andy. So that shows you how they shared things up. Produced by Derek Lawrence, engineered by Martin Birch. There's that name again, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, you name it. Martin Birch was involved with many of the albums in the early 70s. And the cover design, an outer photograph by Hypnosis. And they also were a big company that did all album designs. They did a lot for Yes. Just a whole bunch of bands that they did stuff for. And so then there's the Live from Memphis, the 3 bonus tracks. So, and it tells you who does the vocals here. On Time Was, it's Ted and Martin, Andy, etc., etc. So it gives you a breakdown on who does the vocals on each track. So let's have a look at the tracks here. What do we have? Time Was, beautiful track, and the dual guitar thing is just done to perfection on this album. There's a lot of hooks in this album as well, lots of memorable passages, a lot of melody. But the main thing for me is the twin guitar. Sometime World, Blowing Free, that was another huge hit. The King Will Come, that's probably my favorite track from the album. Leaf and Stream, Warrior, that's another great track. And Throw Down the Sword. So you're looking at about 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 singles from those 7 tracks that were released back in the day. And like I said, they became classics, iconic songs, which the band still plays to this day. I remember seeing them recently, well, a few years ago, here in Cape Town, and they played a number of those tracks. And even though they've been released many, many years ago, it still sends a shiver down your spine when you actually see it live. And you see Andy Powell up there with his Flying V. He's been playing that Flying V for years. And yeah, they just pull it off. Very classy band. They've got a new lineup. There's a fairly new guitarist in the band. That's the only thing that's changed over the years, really, the guitar, the second guitarist. And they've had a few different drummers as well. The bassist at the moment has been with them for a while. So the bonus tracks on your Jailbait, which was from Pilgrimage. That was their second album. This was their third. The Pilgrim and Phoenix. So I think all 3 of those were from the second album. So yeah, I must say they did a really good job with this remaster. This was released by MCA Records, Universal release in South Africa. And yeah, did a really good job. So if you want to go back to the beginnings of the whole twin guitar thing, then you can't do better than Wishbone Ash, and in particular Argus. Like I said, all of these tracks, or most of these tracks here, became favorites. And yeah, I just like the different parts to the songs. You know, it's not just a 3-minute I love you baby kind of thing. This is interesting music. It's headphone music, and it sort of just takes you away. That's what I love about some of the early 70s stuff. So there we go, short and sweet. Wishbone Ash Argus. If you haven't got it yet, you need to get this in your collection. Next time round, for another album that's 50 years old, we're going to go Close to the Edge with Yes. I'll catch you guys then. Have a great week. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe down below. Give me a thumbs up. That'll be fantastic. And yeah, look after yourselves, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers.